The new system for rival wolf packs in WolfQuest, what we're calling the persistent pack system, is coming together. Raul has been working on it for more than 6 months. Finally got it in shape to merge into the main project. So we've been testing and tweaking and playing with it to see how it's working. Still a lot to go on it still, but it's good enough to give you a little peek at it here. This new persistent pack system replaces the old static pack system and gives each pack a full life of its own, with pups growing up and eventually dispersing, just like your pups will grow up, the pack composition changing over the years, pack leaders dying, getting killed, new breeders coming in, and sometimes the pack will actually disband and another one will move in to fill that vacancy. So let's take a look. So I'm going to display some debug readouts that Raul set up to make it easier to track what's going on in the game as it proceeds. And then I'm going to pull up the territory map just so we can track the state of the packs and their territories as we go. So speeding up time now drastically so we can crank along and see changes. On the left, we have a list showing each pack and the members of that pack and what they're doing right now. Are they hanging out at the rendezvous site, or are they out patrolling, marking territory, hunting? And we've given each wolf a role. So we've got some late summer pups. This is in fall. I'm doing this just so I don't have to worry about my own pups dying as we fast forward through time. Let's zoom in on this for a minute. We have a courtable wolf there. That is a wolf who's 2 years or older and is interested in finding a mate. And then we have, each pack has 2 breeders who are the parents, the pack leaders. Packs need to have 2 breeders to thrive and to be successful. So we're cranking along here. This is not tuned or balanced at all. We've actually shifted the balance, made change happen faster, more aggressively, just so we could play it out and see how things work. So we have 3 packs here. They all are doing pretty well here. Oh wait, no. Crevice Lake is at risk of disbanding because they have lost one of their breeders. So the surviving breeder is now a courtable breeder, and they have about a month to find a new mate before the pack disbands. They still have a courtable breeder, so still have a chance of pulling it together, so let's root for them. So as you can see, this is going to work best in the saga when time just goes continuously month after month, year after year. In the meantime, we're going to have it work when you use the jump ahead option. Once you reach endless summer in August, we'll fast forward through some changes in the packs to simulate the effect of those months passing by. Oh, there we go. Crevice Lake has disbanded. You can see the dot on their home site is gone. Nobody left there. That territory is just left to decay. It'll decay fairly quickly, and it leaves a vacancy for another pack to move in. So let's see who shows up. Fast forward here, a new pack should be moving in a little quicker than this. That's something to tweak. Here we go, Baronet pack. And it should be using a different color just to be clear. This is a new pack showing up. Another thing to tweak. So you could sit here and watch this for a while. I have. But you get the idea. So I'm going to fast forward so we can just crank through more time and see more changes. Just get the idea how the system works. Again, this is basically compressed time. This pack turnover is happening much faster than it will in the real game, where it normally take years for the life of a pack to play out. So when designing a system like this, a subsystem in a larger game, it's always a balancing act. We want to give these rival packs a lot of detail in their lives, a lot of drama. But the question always is, how much detail is necessary for the game? It's easy to get carried away and build out a pretty complex system, only to find that with all these variables running simultaneously, the result really isn't much different than rolling the dice periodically. For the player, it's all opaque, hidden. They never appreciate all that complexity. So we think about this a lot. But for this, given how much and how intently many of our players play the game, we decided that it was probably worth the effort to really try to represent the lives of these packs and the individuals in them in a fair amount of detail. We don't expect players to see or track a lot of that information, but we do think that it'll manifest itself often enough in interesting ways that players will notice, and it'll be worth the effort. But there's some other interesting aspects of this new persistent pack system we could take a look at. One of them is a new system for naming wolves. Now in Yellowstone, not every wolf gets a number. There are plenty of famous wolves that do have numbers like 302, also known as Casanova, 7F, the founder of the Leopold pack, Cinderella, 42F. but many wolves don't have numbers. That's because the Yellowstone wolf biologists only give a number to wolves for whom they have the DNA. Sample the blood, which is typically when they put a radio collar. They dart the wolf to knock it out for a little while and put on a radio collar, take blood samples, then they can analyze the DNA. So those wolves have numbers. And in some cases, dead wolves are located by park biologists and they get their blood sampled, so they get their number posthumously. So we talked about adopting this method, but it just doesn't work. So only about 25% of wolves in Yellowstone have radio collars, which means that almost 3/4 of wolves in the game would have no identification number. That just doesn't really work in the game. We thought about other numbering schemes, especially regarding pups, when to give them a number, maybe wait till they're 6 months old or a yearling or something like that, but that also gets complicated. So we finally concluded that simplest method is the best, even though it doesn't match the real method in Yellowstone. So every wolf gets a number when they're born. That's it. That's the system. And so we're basically backdating this for wolves that are already in the game. So a wolf who's 5 years old gets a number in the 600 to 800 range. A wolf who's 4 years old, 800 to 1,000. Newborn pups in the first year of the game start at 1,600. And we're grandfathering this in, so once this update is out, not for a while, when you load a save, it will assign this new numbering scheme to your pups that you already have in the game. The name that they had before is now their nickname, and you can change their nickname without changing the number, which is a fixed number that will stay with them throughout their entire life. And in the saga, with time proceeding, those numbers will increment up year by year. And now every wolf out there can have a nickname. In fact, another aspect of this whole persistent pack system is that we're tracking wolves that you know, wolves that you've met or encountered, either in courtship or in fights. And these wolves will show up on a new panel in Pack Info called Known Wolves. Andre just got this working today, and he gave me his save showing a few wolves that he met while testing the new feature. And these come just with their number that they've been assigned, but you can give them a nickname if you want. So that's kind of cool. So that's a sneak peek. You can tell that it's still in development. A lot of tweaks and things that we're still working on, as well as tuning this new system for the game. But we do think we'll be able to get it out pretty soon. Not real soon, but definitely before the full saga, because we do think it has enough cool features to enhance the gameplay. So we'll have updates on this and the saga and her roaring map in the coming weeks and months, so stay tuned.